Iran spent more than $2 billion on air defense, radars, missiles, layers of protection. On paper, this system should have been untouchable, but when the strike came, nothing stopped it. Not because the missiles were bad, not because the radar was blind, but because the system reacted too late. Modern air defense does not lose to firepower. It loses to time. The first mistake is believing air defense is about shooting things down. It is not. Air defense is about seeing first, deciding faster, and acting before the enemy finishes the move. Iran's system looked dense. Coverage maps were full, overlapping circles, multiple layers. It looked like strength, but density is not coordination. Every radar saw a different picture. Every battery waited for confirmation. Every decision passed through a chain. Seconds were lost, and in modern war, seconds are fatal. The attackers did not need to destroy the system. They only needed to overload it. Decoys appeared first. Signals multiplied, tracks conflicted. The system hesitated. Missiles waited for permission. Radars argued over targets. Command centers tried to keep up. By the time the first launch order arrived, the window was already gone. This was not a failure of hardware. It was a failure of design. A system built to look strong, not a system built to survive pressure. In this video, we are not counting missiles. We are not praising technology. We are breaking down why a $2 billion air defense system failed the moment real war began. Because in modern combat, the most dangerous weapon is not the missile. It is delay. On paper, Iran's air defense looks impressive. Long-range radar, surface-to-air missiles, multiple layers covering major cities and military bases. Maps show wide coverage, circles overlapping across the country. From the outside, it looks sealed. This is the illusion. Air defense strength is often measured by quantity. How many radars? How many launchers? How many missiles in storage? Iran scores well by that metric. Some systems are imported. Some are locally produced. Some are upgraded versions of older designs. Individually, many of them work. That is not the problem. The problem begins when all of them must work together. Air defense is not a collection of weapons. It is a single nervous system. Sensors must agree. Command centers must trust the data. Shooters must receive orders instantly. If one part hesitates, the entire chain slows down. Iran's system was built in pieces, different origins, different standards, different doctrines. Some radars feed one command structure, others feed another. Some missile batteries can act independently, others must wait for authorization. This creates gaps, not in coverage, but in decision-making. Coverage maps do not show delay. They do not show confusion. They do not show human reaction time. On a map, everything looks connected. In reality, information moves through bottlenecks. The illusion grows stronger because the system has never been tested at full speed. Exercises are controlled. Timelines are predictable. Targets behave politely. Real attacks do not. They arrive without warning, from multiple directions, at different speeds, at different altitudes. The illusion of power survives in peacetime because nothing is rushing the system. But war compresses time, and when time collapses, systems designed for order begin to fail. This is where Iran's air defense stops being impressive and starts being vulnerable. Air defense does not operate in empty space. It operates inside physics. Radar does not see everything. It sees in straight lines. Iran's geography is not flat. It is mountains, ridges, deep valleys. When a radar is placed high, it gains range, but it also creates shadows. Everything behind a ridge disappears. These are blind zones, and Iran has many of them. Low-flying targets exploit this. Cruise missiles follow terrain. Drones slip under radar beams. From the radar's point of view, the sky looks calm, until the target is already inside engagement range. To compensate, more radars are added, but more sensors do not always mean better awareness. Overlapping coverage creates conflicting tracks. Different radars see the same object differently. Angles do not match. Timelines drift. Now the system must decide which radar to trust. That decision costs time. Missiles have limits too. They require clean lines of sight. They cannot curve around mountains. If a target dips behind terrain, the shot is lost. Each valley becomes a corridor. Each ridge becomes cover. The attacker chooses when to appear. The defender reacts late. This is not a technology gap. It is a geometry problem. Even perfect radar cannot defeat terrain. Even modern missiles cannot ignore physics. Iran's air defense is forced to fight the environment before it ever fights the enemy. The system spends precious seconds trying to confirm what it is seeing. Seconds turn into delays. Delays turn into gaps. And gaps are all an attacker needs. This is where the illusion begins to crack. Not because Iran lacks equipment, but because no system can escape the physical limits of the land it defends. Detection is only the beginning. After a target is detected, the system must identify it. Is it hostile? Is it real? Is it a decoy? Then comes authorization. Who is allowed to fire? Which battery takes the shot? When the launch is permitted? Each step adds delay. Iran's air defense does not have a single decision center. It has layers of command. Some systems report locally. Others report regionally. Critical decisions move upward. This creates latency. By the time confirmation arrives, the target has already moved. Modern air attacks are designed for this moment. They do not rush the system, they stretch it. Multiple objects appear at once, different speeds, different altitudes. Operators must sort tracks under pressure. Some targets look threatening, others look harmless, some look familiar. The system hesitates. Missile batteries wait. They are trained not to waste shots. They wait for clearance. Clearance arrives late. When the first missiles finally launch, they are already reacting, not intercepting. This is the core failure. Air defense must act before the attack unfolds. Iran's system reacts after it begins. Integration makes this worse. Different radars use different standards. Different missile systems expect different inputs. Data conversion adds friction. Human confirmation adds more. What looks like redundancy becomes confusion. One radar flags a target, another rejects it, a third cannot see it at all. The command layer pauses. Pauses kill systems. Attackers understand this. They design strikes to multiply decisions, not to destroy hardware, but to overload judgment. When every screen is full, nothing gets priority. The system slows itself down. This is not incompetence. It is design. A system built for control, for centralized authority, for caution. But modern air warfare punishes caution. By the time Iran's air defense commits, the critical moment has passed. And once that moment is gone, no amount of missiles can bring it back. Once the first delay appears, the system enters a cascade. Modern air attacks are built for this phase. The goal is not penetration, it is saturation. Cheap targets come first. Slow drones, simple airframes, objects designed to be seen, radars light up, tracks multiply, operators react, missiles launch. Each launch feels like success, but every shot reduces future options. Then the second wave arrives. Faster targets, lower altitude, different signatures. Now the system must choose. Engage what is close, or hold for what might come next. This is where collapse begins. Decoys force early decisions. Real weapons arrive later. By the time operators recognize the pattern, interceptors are already spent. Command centers attempt to regain control. They reassign batteries. They reroute coverage. They change priorities. Each adjustment costs time. Communication links are stressed. Data arrives out of sequence. Some updates are already obsolete. Individual batteries begin to operate alone. They still have missiles, but they no longer have context. Without coordination, each launcher fights a private war. Some fire too early, some fire too late. Some never fire at all. The network fragments. What remains is hardware without coherence. This is the moment air defense truly fails. Not when missiles miss, but when the system stops behaving as a system. Attackers exploit this window. They strike command nodes, relay points, key radars. The goal is not total destruction. It is permanent disorganization. Once confusion sets in, recovery is nearly impossible. Air defense cannot reset under fire. Iran's system does not collapse instantly. It unravels. One delayed decision leads to another. One empty launcher creates a hole. One hole becomes a corridor. And through that corridor, the real strike passes. Iran did not lose because it lacked missiles. It did not lose because its radar was obsolete. It lost because the system was built for control, not for speed. Modern air warfare does not reward caution. It punishes it. Air defense must decide before certainty exists. It must act while information is incomplete. Systems designed to wait for confirmation will always be late. $2 billion can buy hardware. It cannot buy time. It cannot shorten decision chains. It cannot remove human hesitation. It cannot flatten mountains. Iran's air defense was optimized for deterrence, for visibility, for signaling strength, not for surviving saturation, not for operating inside confusion. In modern war, the attacker chooses the moment. The defender reacts. If reaction takes too long, the outcome is already decided. This is the core lesson. Air defense is not a shield. It is a race between detection and arrival, between decision and impact. The side that compresses time wins. The side that delays loses. Iran's system did not fail in theory, it failed in practice, because practice happens at speed, and speed is the one thing no amount of money can guarantee. In modern combat, the deadliest weapon is not the missile, it is the second you do not have.